Can you tell how Captain America screwed up this situation? If you answered, he let other people on the elevator, you are correct. Fortunately, he has since learned from his mistakes, and now he'll teach you his technique to avoid other people getting on your elevator in a special segment called
Leave my elevator alone.
Watch this scene very closely, and you'll see how Captain America easily avoids anyone sharing his elevator.
In a smoky room, smell of wine and cheap perfume. For a smile they can share the night. It goes on and on and on and on. Strangers waiting up and down the boulevard. Shadows searching in the night.
Although Captain America, the first Avenger, was a very solid entry on Marvel's roster, its director, Joe Johnston, chose to work on a smaller budget film than do the modern-day sequel. In many ways, this makes sense, since Captain America 2 would almost have to be a complete reboot. Sure, some returning cast would be back, but they would only be cameos here or in the previous film. Pretty much everything is rebooted except for the lead character. This would not be a superhero war film like the previous installment. So a new feel to the movie would be required here. Anthony and Joe Russo were brought on to direct, much to fandom's surprise. Their biggest movie before this was You, Me, and Dupree, so it wasn't immediately clear how they would handle Captain America in modern day without Owen Wilson.
We might need some matches.
They decided to treat Captain America like a Bourne movie, which seems logical. The Bourne franchise had inspired many action movies over the years, including Taken and Daniel Craig's James Bond films. But would a superhero film work with this format? Well, it wouldn't be flawless, that's for sure. Why do these holograms need chairs? It looks so weird when they pan around and we see these empty chairs just sitting there. What? Do holograms get uncomfortable and need their own chair?
Je croyais que tu étais plus qu'un bouclier.
This actually makes no sense no matter how you look at it. This is obviously a fan service scene to give us a decent fight between Captain America and Batroc the Leaper. But if they want to give us a decent fight, why are they forcing Captain America to put down his shield and essentially be less powerful than he normally is? The fans want to see a serious fight. Let's see them at their full power fighting each other. That only makes sense. Add to it, by doing this, they have Captain America agreeing to fight a terrorist on his own terms, which makes absolutely no fucking sense at all. Captain America is here to free hostages, not to prove that he's a good fighter to some terrorist.
They're a little bit bigger than a 22. After New York, I convinced the World Security Council we needed a quantum surge in threat analysis.
Really, Nick Fury? You convinced them that they would need to surge forward in the smallest possible way. People treat the word quantum as though it means very large, but it actually means very small, the smallest quantifiable amount. I have trouble believing building 3 giant airships is the smallest possible surge that could have been done. this guy new? He knows he's going after Captain America. Did it not occur to him to try not shooting at his shield?
Too busy!
Is he wearing a parachute?
No. No, he wasn't.
No parachute? Too bad he didn't think of this in the last movie. Would have saved him about 70 years.
This one's waited long enough.
I should probably look into that once my decryption program finishes breaking into all of S.H.I.E.L.D's secure files. I'm sorry, did you say Jarvis has been running it since I hit the bridge? In a few hours, I'll know every dirty secret S.H.I.E.L.D. has ever tried to hide.
Remember how Tony Stark hacked all of S.H.I.E.L.D's secrets? Of all the data he grabbed, how'd he miss that half the organization is Hydra? You might have noticed a theme with this list. The theme is nitpicking. Yeah, these are all problems ranging from continuity errors to silly mistakes. Him jumping off the plane is cool here, and while it doesn't make sense that Tony's hacking program would miss Hydra's infiltration at its level, but maybe they were just that skilled at hiding. That's pretty much impossible, but isn't that the name of the game in a comic book movie? The chairs are goofy, and I do wish they had bothered to look up the word quantum before using it. But mistakes happen. Maybe Nick Fury needs to get a dictionary for his birthday. And yeah, what stupid goon honestly thinks shooting at his shield is an effective tactic? The shield is made to stop everything. There are so many awesome scenes in this movie. Just look at the intro.
Dude, you just ran like 13 miles in 30 minutes.
Guess I got a late start.
Really? You should be ashamed of yourself. Should take another lap. Did you just take it? I assume you just took it.
It's just these two guys bullshitting. It's entirely dependent on the chemistry between Chris Evans and Anthony Mackie, and it's completely successful. We immediately get the feeling that these two will be good friends. Then we quickly get to the ship and the action, and this movie has some of the best action scenes out there. We have the ship scene, the elevator scene, Nick Fury's only action scene in all these movies, and the roadway scene, all of which are awesome and memorable. In many ways, the film is handled like a Bourne movie, even with shaky cam. However, the shaky cam here is never a distraction, and it isn't overused like in Man of Steel. A good rule of thumb. Pretty much, if your name isn't Paul Greengrass, you should be very reserved with your shaky cam. I brought up how this movie feels inspired by the Bourne franchise, and while I like the first three Bourne films, if The Winter Soldier was a real Bourne movie, it would be by far the best of all of them. Unlike the first Avenger and the Avengers, where it's not clear if Captain America is any more powerful than Black Widow, here the difference is very noticeable. It's handled well too, essentially showing Black Widow as being a super badass and making Cap that much more badass than her when it comes to fighting and strength. Not so much in cleverness, she still hasn't beat there.
Two coming straight at us. If they make us, I'll engage. You hit the south escalator of the metro.
Shut up and put your arm around me. Laugh at something I said. Do it.
In this movie, Captain America has some great uniforms. His new S.H.I.E.L.D. costume is great, and the return of his uniform from the first Avenger is welcome. Alexander Pierce is a great villain, not because he's over the top or brilliant or anything you usually see with the great villains in these comic book movies. He's a great villain because he is certain he's doing the right thing. He is doing this because he believes by doing so, he'll bring about world peace. And that is scarier than any villain who's just evil for the sake of being evil. Robert Redford turns in a great performance by playing the character as a human being. You won't hear him screaming with anger or laughing with insanity. His single goal throughout the movie is to protect the world, and that is terrifying.
Those people that call you dirty because you got the guts to stick your hands in the mud and try to build something better. And the idea that those people could be happy today makes me really, really angry.
When the first Captain America movie was in the works, people said you couldn't make a good movie with the character. He's too dated. After that movie, people said the character wouldn't work in modern day. After the Avengers, they said the character wouldn't work in a solo movie set in modern day. With this movie, those people shut up. Here's a fun detail I noticed while watching the movie for this review. If you look at Rumlow when they're wiping Bucky, he honestly looks sympathetic. It's details like that that are great. It in no way contributes to the story other than to humanize one of the minor villains, showing that these villains don't like what they're doing, they just honestly believe what they are doing is for the best. The good intentions that pave the road to hell. Every time I watch this movie, I find something new that I like in it. Does it suck? Hell no. In fact, this might be my new all-time favorite superhero movie, beating out The Dark Knight and Spider-Man 2. I give this movie a 10 out of 10, and consider it the best in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Well, gee, I wonder where Guardians of the Galaxy is gonna land on the list.
On and on and on and on, strangers waiting up and down the boulevard.
Hey, if you like this video, please make sure to hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe. That helps me out a lot. And if you really love this video, consider visiting my Patreon page. Every video I make takes conservatively an average of 1 hour per minute for me to produce. And the ad revenue on these videos does not give me a very large return. So if you go to my Patreon and only want to contribute $1, that's just fine. That helps me out a lot. I plan on adding some new rewards, such as DVD box sets of my videos, as well as t-shirts. If there's other rewards you'd like to see happen, please let me know. For more information, make sure to visit my Patreon page.